I think it's important for people in our community to understand the depth and breadth of NewView. NewView's been operating 4 semi-independent housing units in the Tri-Cities area. We have a 20-unit apartment building for those individuals who are managing their illnesses and living independently. We provide subsidized housing for 200 individuals, and just recently was awarded a contract from BC Housing to increase that. So altogether, NewView's impact has been huge in the community in managing the effects of homelessness.
October 3rd to 9th is Mental Health Awareness Week. When we last checked in with the New View Society, it was over a year ago when their log house facility was being torn down. Like a phoenix rising from the ashes, their new facilities are almost finished, but they do need a little bit of help on funding to cover the shortfall.
The board recognized that there was an opportunity to enhance the services and support of NewView, and so the board decided that they would build a new 10-bed semi-independent transition house on this site. And this is the construction of the building that you see behind me. We have a 10-bed transition house, but we don't have the 10 beds yet. Right now, the building is kind of a shell. We are moving forward with our kitchen because we are serving 30 meals a day, but basically it's a shell. And for us to fully utilize and maximize the use of the building, we need to have the dollars come in so we can make that building usable. This is a $4 million project. We were very lucky to have received $1.6 million financing from BC Housing. We also received a $575,000 grant from the federal government, a homelessness initiative grant. And without those two significant contributions, NewView would not have been able to move forward. We have a Flamingo Flocking campaign that is going to take place during Mental Health Week from October 3rd to October 9th. And we have multicolored flamingos, which will be placed on individual lawns, businesses. Our mayors are involved, our councillors are involved, the City Hall will be a flocking place, as well as other locations, businesses. And what we intend to do is place the birds in the morning with a sign that says, "This location has been flocked by NewView Society," and take the signs away and the birds away in the evening. And we hope by spreading it through the Tri-Cities areas that people will become aware of our campaign and also of Mental Health Awareness Week.
So if you see a group of multicolored flamingos out and about in the Tri-Cities this week, it'll remind you that this issue affects all of us. It's a very small world. Our producer here at Tri-City Community Television, Jeff Scott, actually produced a video for the New View Society in his old job at Columbia Academy. We're going to take a look.
I actually have been admitted to the hospital for suicide attempts more times than I can count. But it wasn't until about 5 years ago that I was finally diagnosed with the correct diagnosis, which is borderline personality disorder. If NewView hadn't come into my life when it did, I'm pretty sure I'd be dead. It's sad, but it's very true.
My experience with mental illness began when I was about 15. I wasn't diagnosed until through my university years when I was about 22. I had a lot of delusional ideas and a lot of psychotic thinking, and because I had received such a difficult time in university, I thought everybody was out to get me after a while, and I really believed at moments that radio waves were trying to control me.
It started out with some depression, and anyway, it escalated into me becoming a quadriplegic for approximately 3 years. I was in many hospitals. Just 1 out of 8 doctors said I'd ever walk again, and that one doctor was right, so I'm very grateful.
My mom had to call the police on me a couple times, and not because I was wanting to hurt anybody else, but because I was trying to hurt myself. And the hospitals weren't keeping me and treating me, they were just sending me home after 2 days because the resources just aren't there. And NewView is there constantly.
And when I got here, I felt, I felt like I was being treated like a child. And when I got here, I felt, I felt like I was being treated like a child. And when I got here, I felt, I felt like I was being treated like a child. And when I got here, I felt, I felt like I was being treated like a child. And when I got here, I felt, I felt like I was being treated like a child. And when I got here, I felt, I felt like I was being treated like a child. And when I got here, I felt, I felt like I was being treated like a child. And when I got here, I felt, I felt like I was being treated like a child. And when I got here, I felt, I felt like I was being treated like a child. And when I got here, I felt, I felt like I was being treated like a child. And when I got here, I felt, I felt like I was being treated like a child. And when I got here, I felt, I felt like I was being treated like a child. And when I got here, I felt, I felt like I was being treated like a child. And when I got here, I felt, I felt like I was being treated like a child. And when I got here, helpless. I was pretty helpless and very isolated and kind of lonely.
I'd wanted to go to the drop-in for a long time, and I was so scared, and I worked up the courage to go, and I literally walked in the door with tears in my eyes. The only words I could utter was, "I'm scared." Those were the only words I could get out of my mouth.
First thing in the morning, there are people dancing and singing and talking and having coffee. And as the day progresses, there's games and people playing guitar. Many of the members come very early in the morning, and many of them come at different times throughout the day, depending on their schedules and how they work their day out.
I'm here about 3 to 4 days a week. Me, a name I call myself. And it gives me something to do sometimes when I'm having a rough day to keep busy. Busy is a main cue here.
They have Spanish classes, they have art classes, they have social night, they have games night, they have dances, there's grocery shopping, there's coffee nights, lunch programs, swimming, walking, many things that keep them involved.
I usually am in the craft unit, and sometimes I go to communications, and I've written articles in the newspaper, the New View Review. It comes out about 3 times a year. I like knitting scarves and making toques, and I like rug hooking, and I like learning languages. I know Polish, Iranian, French, Korean. I enjoy it.
My first home in British Columbia through New View was next door at the cottage, and with some other fellows we were there, and that was helpful. I got my first job in construction, and I started working, and I was in semi-independent living at that time.
I wanted to start going to school in January, and I have started going to school, but I had a bus phobia. I hadn't been on a bus or a SkyTrain in a lot of years. And my first experience was on a SkyTrain because I wanted to go with the group from the drop-in. So I did it. I got on the SkyTrain and I crowded everybody around me, and I had a little freak out at one point, but I was okay.
Medications are very helpful, and over the past 20 years they've really helped a lot. They're a lot better now, and the side effects are a lot less and a lot less troublesome.
I think for the near future I want to keep going to school because I love learning. With the support now with New View, and I've come so far in the last year, and I really am doing really well.
I'm working with the fitness program at Hyde Creek Park, and I was volunteering first, and then now we're involved in trying to get people active in exercise. I'm an athlete myself, throw the javelin. I had a lot of anger and frustration, and throwing a spear seemed like a good idea to vent my frustration, so I like to go out and scream and yell and throw this thing around, and it's good for my health, I think.
Just the support of being in a place where you can make jokes about your mental illness and laugh about it, it's so therapeutic, because when you talk to people in the real world, and they think it's well, it is serious, but they can't see the funny side of mental illness.
And there's a terrible stigma out there that many of the people that have mental illness end up on Hastings and on Skid Row areas. But there are places, such as New View, to learn about how to better manage their illness, to not feel so alone, and to seek help. New View will do everything in their capacity to help someone and guide them to the right resource.
I'd like to say these people are fabulous here. I feel wanted, and I love coming here. I look forward to every night. Yeah, I wouldn't know what I'd do without New View. It's helped me tremendously, more than words can say.
It's offered a safe place, a nurturing environment, supportive, non-judgmental. It was home to me. I'd never had a home, and I settled down in Port Coquitlam and have been here for over 20 years now. And it felt like I belonged somewhere and that I was accepted.
I'm doing really well, and I never thought I'd say this, but I love my life now. I love it.